Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. With me this week, I have former GM of Team Rocket, Kyle,
Hey guys.
and of course, I am your host, your commissioner, and your champion, the Ramrod Empire. We have some interesting results, a couple upsets from last week to go over, uh, a few trades, not a whole lot, and some interesting matchups this week as we take our round two into the schedule here, and we start the rotation over, where we'll some teams will see each other again for the second time this season. So let's get into it. Oh wait, how can I forget to brag about this trophy that only a few of you have had your name on? Only one name is on there more than once, and we all know that's the Ramrod Dynasty, the Ramrod Empire here. Um, Looking to add another name of mine on there, another slot. I gotta start covering the back here. Uh, I got a few good years.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, you know what? That's what everyone said the last three times I won. So the
We'll
more you
see.
guys doubt me, the more I just want to prove you wrong. That I am the pinnacle of this league, and you guys are just all below me. Speaking of the Ramrod Empire taking it to Domo, just like he usually does. Big win for Ramrod Empire, jumping back into third place now on the 9-5-1 record. Domo hurting his playoff hopes a little bit, dropping down to 11th at 5-7-3. Um, I will say before I swing this over to you, Kyle, I didn't even need my ads on Sunday, nothing like that. I It was set on Sunday. The only way he could get me is if he got two game winning goals or a shorthanded point was the only way he was catching me. Because of the categories that we each had, and there were so very few games on Sunday. There was no way he was grabbing a goalie, but he had all the goalie stats pretty much. So, um,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me what you observed about this matchup?
I mean, yeah, definitely when it came to players and scoring, you dominated this show. And then, he took the grind and you took some of the goalie stats. Although he didn't take the one goalie stat, the save percentage. And that appeared to be his downfall for the week. At least he could have maybe gotten a tie out of it. Um, Otherwise, yeah, none of the stats on either side were particularly close, except for the GAA and the amount of saves. Those are the only two that were really close.
I think he beat me by what, one save?
Three saves.
Three saves? So, yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
beat
lucky
by
that it was this close.
he beat by a couple blocks as well. So, but otherwise, stats that you had pretty tight.
That's how Team Ramrod, or sorry, the Ramrod Empire, likes to roll. We keep things tight over here. Victorious as I want to say usual, more often than not. We'll say this year with a 9-5-1 record. Um, not my finest year, but good enough for third place right now. That just shows you how good the league has gotten. Um, when third place, has a 9-5-1 record. So usually
Yeah.
there's a bunch of teams way up there. But better luck next time, Domo. Better luck next season because you have no assets. I don't think you're making the playoffs. Let's move on. Done talking about him. You wish you were this tight. 3-7-5 in 13th place, tying mentally Bedarded, who's 4-10-1 in 14th place. Battle of the nobodies here. What happened here?
Um, yeah, obviously they split categories, unusually tied on shorthanded points with like two apiece. I imagine, well, I know for mentally bedarded, that was like Toronto. That was that 7-3 game on Saturday, where Montreal was winning 3-0, and then Toronto scored seven unanswered goals, and two of those goals were shorthanded. So Kyle racked up a couple of shorthanded points on that. And yeah, that kind of helped him get the tie. Otherwise, really, these are guys who are in Caucasaurus contention, and this tie keeps them in Caucasaurus contention.
I feel like that's what they wanted as let's both stay in contention for this cock. Let's tie. Let's call it a tie. We both win that way. Good for you guys. Great sportsmanship.
And like, I mean, really good for Mark because he's not going to be tight for very long if he gets the Caucasaurus.
He's looking forward to it. Like I think he's trying a little too hard to pretend he doesn't want it. Um, but he'll get his name on there in the next few seasons.
And,
His roster's pretty bare.
and don't you worry, Mark. It's ribbed for your pleasure.
Don't try the beef. 8-6-1 in sixth place. Barely scraping by against the lowly Charlie Browns. 4-10-1 in 15th place. What happened here?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Barely scraping by. Yeah, Charlie Brown's had the lead in this most of the week, and then Daltrey pull out of the tie with the shots on goals. 83-82 at the last minute. I'm not too sure where you got the second one, but I'm suspecting it was plus minus because he got up on the plus minus by plus one, and I think that pulled him away from a potentially embarrassing defeat to one of the bottom feeding teams.
That it would be embarrassing losing to Sean. He is not a very good team this year, last year, year before. It's been a while since he's been kind of anywhere near playoff contender. But one day maybe he'll get back there, maybe. But right now he's at the bottom of the league, right where he belongs in Caucasaurus territory. Sean, I'm still rooting for you. I hope you get that trophy. I know you have a spot on the mantle for it waiting. I know your wife is excited for the Caucasaurus. Everyone loves Raymond. 8-5-2 in fifth place. He had a tough matchup against Robo Wolf. 10-5-0 in second place. What happened here?
Yeah, RoboWolf had an outstanding week. Just dominated across the board. Derek was only able to win PIMS, shots on goals, and blocks quite handily. I might add, but otherwise, Corey had a very dominating week and easily took this week.
That's not a good sign for Derek. But he was saying too he has goaltender injury issues, which doesn't help him. He's had a very bad time for him with the playoff push coming. Um, he's
Yeah,
not.
Omar is on IR, and he only has DeSmith and Swayman.
Yeah, it's not the goalies that you really want to trust going in. Swayman's great, don't get me wrong, but you got Swayman and a backup who's going to get maybe one start a week. Um, Not the best. He's going to be waiver wire watching to try and get those starts. So hint, boys, go pick up those goalies and try and extort Derek a little bit. Big win for Corey though. Keeping up pace. He's not catching Braden at this point. But staying a
Unlikely.
point ahead of me in that race for second. Big win for Corey. Good for you, buddy. Forgot about Dre. 8-6-1 in seventh place, losing to Lyle and Team Rocket. 6-9-0 in 12th. What did your brother have to say about this?
I was pretty excited. As we all know, um, the additional stipulation to this game was that Nick would have to leave the league if he lost to my brother Lyle. So Nick is officially no longer a GM in this league, and he is being replaced by his better-looking brother Dick.
Now, we haven't officially heard that from Nick yet, so until I hear it from him, I won't say that he's officially doing it. But that was what he said he would do, that he would quit and get his evil twin Dick to kind of take over. So curious to see if Nick backs up his words here. Um, but big win for Team Rocket. Who knew he had it in him? I guess you did because you predicted yourself to do this.
I
Um,
absolutely did. I have
you
a
went
I have
six
a
for eight,
great
by the way.
record. I have a great record against Nick, and every time he trash talks my team, he loses. It's kind of like when I trash talk somebody, I end up losing. He's got like the same curse. So yeah, I mean, this is a really tight race, and the thing that pushed me for 8-7, I picked up Tarasov. on the weekend, and Tarasov got a
No.
very rare shutout loss. Um, so I ended up getting the shutout, but Tarasov lost the game because it went to shootout, and that shutout is what broke the tie.
Good things happen when you deal with Team Ramrod. So boys, come pick up those ad drops. That's where Tarasov came from. Great ad drop. I could have used that for my matchup, but I didn't need it to beat Domo. But I'm glad I could help in Nick's downfall a little bit. You might be onto something since he's been pretty docile the last little bit, not really trash talking. He hasn't been winning. I feel Nick needs to boost his confidence a bit, come in here and swing his big dick around here and remind people that he's one of the top teams. But right now, he's just all turtling. A little bit of shrinkage going on here, hiding in the middle of the standings, about to fall out of a playoff spot if he's not too careful. We'll see how Nick reacts going into his matchup with Braden this week.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would love to see Nick not make the playoffs. I don't think it'll happen because I think there's a bit of a discrepancy uh, at the bottom, between like the teams that are in and the teams that are not. I really think only eighth is really up for grabs. Mind you, there's six weeks left, but you know the race is kind of coming to a close, and things are starting to the picture's starting to form. And I mean, we'll talk about this, but both Dan and Neil and Domo all lost this week, and those are the teams that need to win to get into the playoff race.
No, schedule will matter in this run, right? And I'll tell you now, I play 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to finish the season after this week.
Mm,
So I'm going to have a big say on who makes the playoffs. You boys got to beat the champ to get those valuable points or risk falling behind. Bitch and
absolutely.
Bacon. Love that name. 7, 6, and 2 in eighth place. After taking down the 6, 7, and 2. Fetch me a drink. This was they were tied going into this week. This was a huge win for whoever came out on top. In this case, it was Casey. Big win for Casey, jumping into eighth. Now he's got to hold on to it. What happened here?
Oh yeah, this is a super tight match all week. Huge win for Casey to pull ahead of Dan here. Um, Casey's players, kind of edged out Dan's. Dan, as per usual, got the grind stats. They split the goaltending stats, but the one of the difference makers was there's a lot of shorthanded points this week, and Casey got a few, and that was another factor that helped him win. He barely got power play points by one, but that's all it takes. You win a point here, win a point there. Next thing you know, you got victory, and you're back in the playoffs.
Back in the play. Can you imagine a year where Braden and Casey makes the playoffs? What the
I
fuck
mean,
is
like
this?
who the fuck's catching Braden? Who Braden's gone from last to first, and like it's not even close. This is like the least close first place race in years,
Well, I think it's what,
if
six
ever.
points right now?
6 points.
So things could still change, but he's not dropping anywhere close. He's like pretty much clinched. So like
Yeah. Well, there's
unless
only
things
21
go
weeks.
insanely bad for him, uh, but I don't see
Even
that happening. He's clinched. Probably going to be probably the top seed more than likely. Not guaranteed, but probably the top seed. Um, I don't like finishing first. Again, we know the history in this league, but more that eighth place is hungry to make it in. They're gonna be their boys are gonna be playing hard. I don't want to face that in the first round. I like to finish second, third, play those teams who kind of just like, oh, I was so good, I didn't need to make any trades, and fuck you guys, I'm gonna take you down. That was what you last year, seventh place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I got in at eighth, I believe, but oh no, I got in at sixth, and then I faced you in first round
Yeah,
or seventh. I forget which one. Seventh,
it
actually.
was
You were
around. Yeah,
second.
yeah, I think I was second. No, that's
Yeah,
that's my comfort zone, boys. That's the way to the championship. I think I was seventh or second seed like for at least two of my runs. Um, Patches taking a big loss, allowing me to hop over him in the standings. 8-5-2 in fourth place. After getting beat down by the Braden bye week, 12-1-2, still in first. What happened here?
Well, I mean, this is one week where Braden actually didn't make a comeback on Sunday.
He didn't
He
have
actually
to.
he didn't have to. He dominated all week. Um, Nick didn't particularly have a good week here. He's still having goaltending issues, and Braden is not. And yeah, this was like an easy win for Braden. I just like to say you're welcome. I took out Patches last week. Braden took him out this week, and now you've jumped the standings.
All in the service of the Empire. I appreciate you boys for doing your part. Big
Hey,
one for Braden, continues to just separate from the pack. Well, I mean, everyone else is keeping pace, but the pace is we're still behind. Patches losing a little ground here. This is a chance for him to kind of make up some ground, and keep himself afloat in the playoff race. I know he's still in fourth, but that race is so tight. A couple bad weeks, like the ones that he's having, a little streak like this, it could dump you right out. So he needs to turn it around. Hopefully, he has an easy matchup this week. I don't really know who he's playing. I guess we'll find out shortly.
yeah, I think it's a tough matchup.
Oh, well, not good for him. TVTMF, the fucking trash team of the league, 4-11-0 in 16th place, taking down Sorokin these nuts, 6-8-1 in 10th. Neil taking a tough loss. What happened here?
Yeah, Neil's team didn't really show up. He didn't get player stats, didn't get goalie stats, and Travis had a decent week. Not nothing exceptional, but decent enough. And decent beat a Neil bad week.
Yeah, I can't believe Travis is getting wins with the team he has. Somehow he's pulling out wins. I mean, good for him. He's trying to get out of last place. He's keeping pace at least. But now, you know, Sean just 1 point up on him. I like that.
And
Sean, we're
Kyle too.
rooting for you.
Like
Yeah, I want Kyle to win that though. We already have a Kyle on there, but we don't have a Sean on there. Uh,
no,
the
that
guy who
would
rode the
be
top of the
nice.
standings for the first like what 6 7 years of the league. I'd love to
Yeah.
see his name on that Golden Cock.
Oh, you'd love to see him gobble it all up.
Yeah, I love the story of his downfall. Everyone knows I have a what, years long rivalry with Sean. So this is personally great for me.
And it's because he gave up on Ovechkin.
That's all of it. Ovechkin's like you don't believe in me, and then he fired him up for the playoff run last year and this year for Daltrey. Fired him up.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at the standings here. We got the Braden bye week with 24 points in first place. Like I said, 6 point cushion up on. Oh, these aren't updated standings.
Oh, they should have been updated.
Yeah,
That's
it's
weird.
weird. Hold on. Technical difficulties. There we go. 26 points. So he's still 6 points up on second place, RoboWolf, who's sitting at 20 points. Team Ramrod or Ramrod Empire, apologies, sitting at 19 points in third. We have two teams sitting at 18 points, Patches and Derek. You got Daltrey and Dre holding on for six and seven at 17 points. Casey sneaking in there with 16 points. Then you got a little bit of a gap. The top eight have a cushion right now. Dan
Absolutely.
Dan has to make up some room here, some points. Sitting at 14 points in ninth. Sorokin these nuts, Captain Crunch, sitting at 13 points, so 3 points out in 10th and 11th, respectively. Yourself, you climbed, sorry, Lyle climbed into 12th here at 12 points. Um, Mark, you're pretty much out 5 points is a big, that's not impossible, but it's a big gap to cover. And apparently you're not up for big gaps. You're just too tight. 11 points in 13th. You got Mentally Bedarded and Johnson at 9 points where they belong near the bottom of the league, and TVT trying to climb out of that golden cock, trying to climb off of it, sitting at 8 points in last. So some tight standings. Starting to see some distance now, right? Where you got ninth, who's 2 points out. So that means like teams that are pretty much 18 or higher are pretty safe unless things go really bad, and someone else goes on a run. It's more like I think, like you said, maybe six, seven, eight are the only spots that are really in danger, and that's
Yeah, and even then, there's 6 weeks left. By my estimation, to get in the playoffs, you're going to need 22 points. Um, so they have 6 weeks to get 5 points, essentially. So as 2 wins and a tie will probably get them there. Not a guarantee. Sometimes it's a little higher, but that's where I'm going to peg entry. Because you look at ninth place, to get 22 points, they need to get 4 wins over the next 6 weeks. Not impossible, but that's they have to go on a good streak. Um,
you have to beat
so
those teams though that you're fighting with on those spots. Like Dan
yeah,
lost to Casey, that was a valuable 2 points.
oh,
Um,
it's a huge 2 points. Yeah,
those are teams you
and
can't afford to mess up against.
so we're getting to the point of the season because we're in our go around now. It's what's your schedule like? Uh, and some people are going to have favorable schedules, and other people are not. So we'll see what happens.
Lucky for Dan, like I said, I'm gonna play four, five, six, seven. Like I might buy him some time here.
Yeah, so those teams that are at the bottom of the playoff race, they may have a bit harder of a time getting in. I know I'm going to have a harder time getting in because I play you this week.
And to keep in mind how the schedule's been going, um, all these teams I have to play will play Nick right before I do. So
Oh, yeah.
there's going to be a lot of opportunity for standing shuffling. So I look forward to the next 6 weeks here and see what goes down.
Yeah, I know for myself personally, I play 14th, 15th, and 16th at the end. And you'd think I'd be advantaged, but I lost to all of them this season. So,
Yeah, you did. After trashing them hard.
oh my God, I'm still eating it.
We're not going to talk about a lot of these trades because most of them don't matter. But we'll talk about this one. Patches, picking up Montembeau and an eighth in exchange for Slav and a seventh with Travis. What do you think of this one?
Uh, sorry, I'm just looking for it here.
Look,
Montembeau and an eighth for Slavkovsky and a seventh.
yeah.
It's not a bad trade. Trading for futures, trading player for goalie. Um, and Patches hurting for goalie, although that game on Saturday did not help Patches. So, um, but the Canadians are, they're in the playoff hunt. They're hungry. So this could be beneficial for both sides here. I don't mind it.
I like Slav as a young keeper for Travis. And a 1 round upgrade in the 7-8 area for a starting goalie. Whether he's a starter by the end of the year or not, that's to be determined. But at the moment, it is his crease. Um, but 5-star Dobes here seems to be taking over a little bit, winning all his games. So who knows? This might be a bad trade by the end of the year. But I'm all right with that. I'm all right with potential playoff opponent making a bad move before the deadline.
The
Keep
thing is, like,
on you, Nick.
regardless of what happens in the Montreal situation, I think Montembeau is an NHL starter. But Montreal might go and because they're fighting for a playoff spot, they might ride the hot hand, right? So,
You should.
yeah. So this might be a bad trade if he's not keeping Montembeau, um, because with the way things are going, Dobes might pick up that crease because you want to get into the playoffs. You want to ride the hot hand.
Yeah, exactly. Another goalie moved. Merilainen and 214s going to Daltrey, and Burns and 213s going to Corey. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, because I think is Deltry looking to pick up because of the Koch situation, the
I don't know what
goalie?
he's trying to do. Uh, I suspect that he's picking up young goalies who are off the hot starts on their careers, hoping that they're gonna continue to do that. Um,
Yeah. The thing is, like Koch led the league in like shutouts, or was like one of the top three last season. You just don't know with the young goalies. Like they get, and we've seen this with a lot of goalies over NHL history where they get like a really hot start, but then they fade pretty quickly. Um, so we'll see what happens. Um, I don't know if it's a great trade for Daltrey, but he's not paying much for it, so it's okay to take a chance on, I guess.
yeah, I don't really care either way for the trade. To me, it was pretty much a nothing. It was just interesting that he goes and picks up Maryline after just picking up Dobes, looking for the young goalies when he still has like Decord. Um, I forget who else he has,
Yeah.
but he's got solid goaltending. But whatever. Like who I'll be interested to see what happens in Maryline once Allmark comes back because I don't think Forsberg is waiver eligible where he is. So
Mm,
I guess we'll see. The other trade happened today, which wasn't what you call fuck Sunday waiver wire pickup, drop trade. Uh,
yeah.
Zetterland and a 10th going to Sean, Lehkonen and an 11th going to Neil. What do you think of this?
I've never even heard of Zetterlund before. This is the first time, so I don't have an opinion on this because I've never even heard of this dude.
He's an okay young guy in San Jose. He's having a solid season. Um, to me, Lehkonen's a better player. He's more you know what you're getting out of him more, right? He's more I don't know, 10 I don't know what the word I'm trying to say is, I guess like I don't know. He's a safer bet, really, especially on Colorado. But Zetterlund is having a good offensive year. And I believe he puts up a little bit of grind, but I feel like there's more upside with Lehkonen playing on that power play with McKinnon and Makar Rantanen. So I don't know. I think the trade is okay. I probably would have done that for a one pick upgrade if I was really interested in either player.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a bad trade by any means. One pick upgrade, not a big deal.
No. Let's talk about this week's matchups. Lyle versus the Ramrod Empire. Team Rocket coming back after blasting off in week one. Where Team Ramrod, the champion, famously told him that even a 10-year-old kid could beat him. Apparently, Nick is not better than a 10-year-old kid, though. Um,
Nope.
Kyle, we'll start with you. Who do you have here?
Oh, I got you. Um, your goaltending is way too good, and I don't think my goaltending, even though my goaltending is not bad, it's not as good as yours, and I think it's going to come down to goaltending. I think player stats we split them, or maybe a 6-4 split. But I think your goaltending is going to pull through on this week.
Normally, I would say I would run away with the player stats, but Lyle, up to his dirty tricks, sent Garland out there on Saturday to antagonize McDavid. Um, and to his point, he got under McDavid's skin, and McDavid reacted and was served a 3-game suspension today. So
Oh,
no
damn.
McDavid this week because of Garland and Lyle, their conspiracy. So the player stats will be closer than I would like, but I still think the Ramrod Empire will prevail. You wish you were this tight. Taking on bitchin' bitches, 13th versus 8th. Who do you have?
Ooh, I'm going with Mark this week.
I don't think I've
I
ever
got
heard
a
you
bit,
say that.
yeah. I think he's going to pull it through on Casey. I think he's going to pull an upset off here.
Interesting. I went the opposite direction. I went with the guy who actually has been winning games more often than not. I think Casey's feeling no pride after beating Dan last week. He's going to do what he can to try and solidify a playoff spot, probably for the first time in his franchise's career. I don't remember the last time that team made the playoffs. Did they ever? I don't remember.
Yeah, probably
Irrelevant.
maybe in the early days.
Maybe in the early days. Who knows?
It's
There's
hard
so
it's hard
much
to trace
history on
back the
that team.
ownership of the team.
Yeah, they're the team that just moves around. They get passed around, like Mark. Just not tight anymore. Sorry,
No,
Mark.
definitely not.
Y'all try the beef. Sixth place versus Patches. Oh, Hooligan in fourth. This is a big matchup. Um, who do you got here?
I'm going to go with Daltrey. Nick's goaltending situation is very shaky, and Daltrey's is not. Player wise, they're pretty even, and even then, I'd give the edge to Daltrey on players. So with Nick's goaltending situation, I don't see him winning this week.
I went with Patches. I feel it's going to be a matter of time before Daltrey's luck with those two young rookie goalies is going to fall through. Very well could be this week. And I think Nick has a solid team. It really could go either way, but I'm going to give the edge to Nick. Yeah, just for those reasons. Everyone loves Raymond. Fifth place versus the 11th place, Domo. Who do you have?
Hmm. I'm going to go with Domo this week. Um, I feel like this is kind of like a bad style, like bad matchup for Derek, and I think Domo's going to take it to him.
Man, we are on opposite wavelengths except for our matchup so far. I wrote down my answers earlier, so my prediction
Yeah,
earlier. I went with Derek. I just think Derek's team is better. Um,
I do
I'd
agree
say,
with you there. But sometimes the lower seed wins.
yeah, we saw that last week a couple times. We see it every week a couple times, right? But I'm going to put my faith in that the higher seed in this case will win. And I don't think Domo. I think it's too late for you, buddy. Start thinking about next year. Maybe don't trade all your picks away by week five, trying to win meaningless matches and you don't even get the playoffs. That's man, that's sad.
Sad.
This in my opinion will be the match of the week. Dre in seventh versus Braden in first. I know seventh versus first doesn't scream. Um, Match of the week. But their match was close in week one. Now it's time to see if Braden can back it up, his week one victory, and see if he can pull it out against Nick again. Who do you have?
Uh, who's the only team that's beaten Braden this year?
I don't remember.
Yeah, neither do I. Interesting. I
It
thought maybe it
wasn't
was
the.
Nick.
I don't think it was a playoff team.
Huh. Um, I'm gonna go with Dick for this week. I think he's gonna make a great debut this week and take down the Braden bye week.
Our difference of opinion continues. I don't usually go against Dre. But it's hard to go against Braden right now. I feel like his team has been really playing well. I don't think it'll last all year throughout the playoffs, but it's hard not to go with him when he has all kinds of momentum going into this matchup. So I'm gonna ride that wave and let's see if he takes me to a prediction victory here.
Yeah, we'll
Mentally,
see.
yeah, mentally bedarded 14th, taking on Corey in RoboWolf in second place. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think Corey had a pretty rough start to the season, and he is what like 10-2 since his 0-3 start. It's hard to go against him, so I have to go with Corey here.
Yeah, I was going with Corey too. So this is like one of the few ones that we agree on. I don't know, second versus 14th. There's a reason he's at the top of the standings and Plums is at the bottom. So I'm going to give the edge to Corey and stick with that. TBT in 16th place, the trash of the league versus Dan in ninth. Big opportunity for Dan to get some easy points. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's hard not to go with Dan on this one. Yeah, and perfect opportunity for him to get back in it. Might be able to catch Casey and get himself back into eighth this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I went with Dan as well. I just never go with TBT because his team is just fucking shit. Um, Neil in 10th place, Sorokin these nuts, taking on the Charlie Browns in 15th. Who do you got here?
Again, this is another desperately needed match by Neil to get himself back into the playoff race. I'll have to go with Neil on this one over the Charlie Browns, and we'll keep things close at the bottom of the standings.
I also went with Neil. More because I just want to see Sean fail. So thanks Neil for your doing your part this week. I appreciate it in advance. There you have it, guys. Perfect timing too, because we got less than 3 minutes left in our free session here. Because fuck that, I'm too cheap. The league doesn't pay for this. It's gonna come out of the champ's pocket. No, you guys get fucking 45 minutes if you're lucky. Uh, do you have any parting words, Kyle? Anything to say to your brother Lyle?
Uh, Lyle, I hope you kick Shane's ass this week.
But you don't think you will because you picked me.
That's right.
Well, boys, thanks for watching. Good luck, everyone, this week. Lyle, unfortunately for you, you are in trouble this week against the Ramrod Empire. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, have a good week, guys.